Don't scroll. You've been lied to. They told you to be sweet, open up fast, buy her gifts, text her constantly, always be available. But where did that get you? Ignored, ghosted, rejected. Because the truth is, the guys women chase are not the ones chasing them. They're not trying to impress. They're not begging for love. They stand still and let women come to them. This is not about being rude. This is not about tricks. This is about power, presence, respect. This is the bad boy code, not the loud, fake bad boy. The real one, the quiet one, the one who doesn't chase. Let's break it down. 5 simple ways to become the man every woman wants, without lifting a finger. Rule 1. Don't make her the goal. Build a life she wants to join. This is where everything begins. This is where most men go wrong. They make her the mission, the goal, the prize. And the second they do that, they start living around her, instead of for themselves. They wait for her to text. They cancel their plans for her attention. They stop chasing their dreams just to chase her mood. And without even realizing it, they lose their edge, their energy, and their identity. But here's the truth. The men who get chased are building. They are not sitting around scrolling, wondering how to be liked. They are out there working on themselves, on their goals, on their legacy. They're in the gym, breaking limits. They're at work, building a business. They're reading, learning, refining their mindset. They're too focused on becoming someone great to worry about whether she replied in 2 minutes or 2 hours. That kind of focus is rare. And that kind of man, he becomes magnetic without trying to be. You see, a woman doesn't want to be your mission. That sounds romantic in movies, but in real life, it feels heavy. It feels like pressure. It feels like neediness. And nothing kills attraction faster than the sense that you have nothing going on unless she's around. She doesn't want to be your whole world. She wants to enter a world that already has meaning, already has structure, already has momentum. She wants to be part of something real, not the reason you finally start caring about your own life. So stop building around her. Start building beyond her. Build a life so full, so strong, so focused that you barely notice her absence. Not because you don't care, but because you're committed to something deeper. Your growth, your goals, your greatness. When a woman sees a man on a mission, she feels it. She feels the difference. He's not reactive. He's not overly available. He's not desperate to be chosen. He's already chosen himself. And that self-respect, that self-direction, it draws her in more than any line, any gift, or any compliment ever could. She starts wondering, what's he building? Where's he going? How can I be part of it? And that's when the power flips. That's when you stop chasing and she starts choosing you. Because the man with a mission isn't waiting. He's moving, he's creating, he's shaping his own future. And that future, it doesn't need her, it simply has space for the right woman to earn a place inside. So get clear on what you're building. A body that shows discipline, a business that reflects your vision, a routine that no one interrupts, a mindset that stays sharp even when things go quiet. The man who makes a woman his goal always loses himself. But the man who makes his life the goal, that man becomes unforgettable. Because women don't chase men who orbit around them. They chase the man they can't quite catch. The one who's too busy becoming someone great. The one who isn't waiting. He's building. Rule 2. Control your emotions. Never beg, never break. This is where real power begins. Not in your muscles, not in your money, not in your words, but in your ability to control what you feel and what you do with it. Most guys don't lose women because they weren't good enough. They lose them because the moment she pulls back, they fall apart. She takes a little longer to reply, and suddenly he's anxious. She acts cold, and he starts overthinking. She says she needs space, and he starts explaining himself, double texting, trying to fix it fast. But here's the hard truth. The second you start reacting like that, you lose respect. Not because you're a bad person, not because she's cruel, but because emotional panic makes you look unstable. And a man who is unstable under pressure is not a man she can trust with her heart. She doesn't want to feel like she's responsible for keeping you together. That kind of emotional weight is not attractive, it's exhausting. She wants to feel like she can lean on you. But if you're the one leaning on her every time something shifts, you become more of a burden than a man. So what do most men get wrong? They think expressing everything right away is being real. They pour out their feelings too soon. They reveal need instead of strength, and they expect closeness in return. But it doesn't bring her closer, it pushes her away. Why? Because women aren't attracted to emotional dependence, they're attracted to emotional stability. Being emotionally available doesn't mean unloading everything the moment you feel it. It means knowing when to speak and when to hold your center. It means having the strength to sit with discomfort without needing someone else to fix it. If you're feeling insecure, don't reach for your phone. Don't send paragraphs. Don't ask, "Are we okay?" Hit the gym, move your body, get into your breath, reconnect with your discipline. Because begging doesn't bring her closer, but strength pulls her in. If you're anxious, don't dump your fear on her, hoping she'll soothe you. Stay silent. Let the storm pass inside you before you speak outside. Every time you pause before reacting, you're telling her, "I am in control." And if she pulls away, let her. You don't chase someone who's running. You don't fix someone who's unclear. You don't sell yourself to someone who's no longer watching. Let her feel your absence. Let her wonder why you didn't chase. That silence, that calm, that's what gets remembered. The man who doesn't react immediately becomes the man she starts to respect, because she knows he's not driven by panic. He's not out of control. He can feel deeply, but he doesn't fall apart. Understand this. Emotional control is not coldness. It's leadership. It's knowing how to carry your emotional weight without handing it off to someone else. It's being able to stay calm when things get uncertain. It's being able to say, "I feel this, but I'm not letting it rule me." And that makes you powerful. Because in her eyes, the man who doesn't beg, the man who doesn't collapse under pressure, the man who can sit in silence without fear, that man is rare, and rare is irresistible. Rule 3. Let your presence speak louder than your words. Most guys believe that the key to winning a woman over is knowing exactly what to say. They spend hours thinking about the perfect text, the clever joke, or the deep conversation that will make her see their value. But in reality, the harder you try to say the right thing, the more it comes across as trying too hard. The energy behind it screams, "Please like me." And women don't respond to words, they respond to energy. The man who constantly talks, explains, and tries to impress is unknowingly creating pressure. He's trying to perform. He's trying to prove his worth through noise. And that noise becomes exhausting. She may listen, but she won't feel anything deeper. Why? Because your words are trying to convince her instead of allowing her to feel something real. Now think about the opposite. The man who walks into a room quietly, without forcing attention. He doesn't need to talk much. He's not trying to be funny or charming. He's just calm, grounded, still. And yet, people notice. She notices. Not because he's loud, but because his energy enters the room before he speaks. That's presence. Presence is when your body, your breath, your posture, your stillness, all carry a message stronger than any line ever could. You're not trying to impress, because you don't need to. You already know who you are. That's what makes you magnetic. When a man is fully present, not distracted, not anxious, not looking for validation. She feels it instantly. She feels safe around him, curious, intrigued. She doesn't know why, but something about him just feels different. Because most men leak energy. They're fidgeting, checking their phone, talking fast, trying to get a reaction. But the man who can sit in silence, make calm eye contact, and breathe deeply, he's rare. And rare always stands out. You don't need to say 100 things to show her who you are. You need to be someone who's already living with intention. A man who has nothing to prove. A man who's not performing, just existing fully in the moment. That kind of energy is heavy. It's thick, it's unforgettable, and it speaks much louder than words ever could. Women are emotional beings. They don't remember everything you said. They remember how you made them feel. They remember the way you looked at them without flinching. The way you stayed calm when others got nervous. The way your presence filled the room without needing a single word. They remember the moment they felt seen not by your compliments, but by your silence. You want to impress her? Don't try harder. Slow down. Stand still. Say less. Let your vibe do the talking. When you pause before answering, it shows patience. When you hold eye contact without fear, it shows confidence. When you listen more than you speak, it shows strength. You make her lean in, not because you're loud, but because you're centered. You give her the space to feel, not just hear. Presence is not about pretending to be mysterious. It's about being so comfortable with yourself that you don't feel the need to explain or impress. That quiet self-assurance naturally creates mystery, not because you're hiding something, but because you're not handing everything away too soon. You're letting her earn access to your world. And that's attractive. And here's the best part. When your presence is strong, you don't have to work so hard. The way you carry yourself will speak louder than your compliments. The way you breathe will calm her more than any reassurance. The way you stand still will make her feel more than any paragraph could. So stop overthinking your next message. Stop memorizing lines. Stop trying to say all the right things. Instead, be the right thing. Be the calm, be the focus, be the man who knows who he is. Because the man who knows how to hold his presence will always be remembered even in his silence. Rule 4. Be the challenge, not the comfort. Picture this. She used to text you good morning first. Now a whole day passes and nothing. Most men feel a knot in the stomach and run straight to their phones. They turn into detectives rereading chat history, guessing what went wrong, asking friends for advice. After an hour of spiraling, they tap out a long message. Hey, is everything okay? Did I do something? They press send, then stare at typing, like their life depends on blinking dots. What they don't notice is how heavy that energy feels on her side of the screen. Instead of feeling loved, she feels cornered. She was stepping back to breathe, to think, maybe even to test how steady you are. Suddenly your need fills the space and steals her oxygen. Attraction needs room to expand. Neediness closes the room up tight. The more you push, the less she can feel her own pull. Women step back for many reasons. Sometimes work stress, family drama, hormones, or simple overwhelm makes them retreat. Other times, a tiny part of them wonders, is he as solid as he seems? Will he keep his frame if I stop feeding him attention? None of this is a conscious evil plan. It's instinct testing for strength, the same way a tree tests the wind. If limbs snap too fast, the tree knows the storm will break it later. Your response tells her whether you bend or break. Think of two ships at sea. One is anchored, the other drifts every time waves hit. The anchored ship might rock, but it always returns to center. The drifting ship looks busy, sails flapping, crew shouting, but it keeps sliding farther from its course. Which vessel feels safer to board? Which one would you trust in a storm? Your emotional steadiness is that anchor. If you yank up anchor and sail straight toward her every time she moves, You prove you can't hold steady water. Being the challenge does not mean ignoring her to play mind games. It means living by an inner clock, not by notifications. While she's silent, you're still up at dawn for the gym. You're still focused at work, cracking the problems that pay for your future house. You're still meeting friends, laughing, learning, creating. Your world keeps turning at the same speed, whether her texts flow like a river or slow to a drip. She learns that she can drift and return without capsizing the ship. When she feels this calm, something happens inside her. Curiosity sparks. Why isn't he checking on me? Has he lost interest? What is he doing right now? That curiosity morphs into tension, and tension fuels desire. Not the unhealthy, stressful kind, rather the healthy awareness that you're independent, that you value yourself, that being with you is a choice, not a given. She starts scrolling through your stories to see what you're up to. She rereads your last message, wondering why you're so relaxed. If she asks, "Why didn't you check on me?" you don't lecture or brag. You simply smile and say, "I figured you were busy. I was too." 10 honest words, no edge, no guilt trip. The weight of your self-control hits harder than any speech about how much you care. She feels both safe and challenged. Safe because you're stable, challenged because she still has to earn more of your attention. Remember, challenge is not cruelty. You can still show warmth, still listen when she speaks, still celebrate her wins. The difference is you're not handing out your emotional resources like free samples at a mall. You invest where there is mutual respect. You keep a little mystery, not secrets, but depth she has to explore over time. Depth is attractive because it hints at more life below the surface. Every time you hold your frame, you reinforce silent truths. I trust myself. I respect my peace. I refuse to negotiate who I am for temporary closeness. She may test again, arriving late, giving short replies, bringing up an ex. Watch your reflex. If you feel heat rise, breathe once, twice, 3 times before speaking. A calm 3-second pause can save you 3 weeks of backtracking from an emotional outburst. When you answer, keep your voice low and steady. Low voice signals control. Shouting signals fear. The goal isn't to be emotionless. The goal is to guide emotions the way a river guides water-strong banks, directing flow instead of floods destroying the village. Show you can feel disappointment without collapsing, can enjoy affection without addiction, can face uncertainty without scrambling for shortcuts. That combinational availability plus emotional discipline is unbelievably rare. And, as every marketplace proves, rarity multiplies value. So when she cools off, resist the reflex to close the gap. Let the space do its job. Use the time to level up, finish a book, polish a skill, smash a workout, call your family. When she senses your life stays vibrant, whether or not she texts, her respect grows. Respect is the soil where lasting desire takes root. Carry this mindset into every interaction. I'm happy you're here, but I'm complete either way. Speak it with your actions more than your mouth. Eventually she realizes the only way to stay close is to rise to your level. Bring warmth, honesty, consistency, not because you demanded it, but because your steadiness quietly said, "This is the standard." And if she never rises, you let her drift without bitterness. A man anchored to purpose can mourn a lost connection, but he never sinks with it. He appreciates what the bond taught him and sails on rudder firm, eyes forward, storm ready. This is how you transform from comfort giver to challenge worth chasing, by choosing calm over panic, presence over pressure, self-respect over approval. Because the moment she recognizes that you do not need to move to match her tide, she realizes she must meet your shorier risk, watching the strongest, steadiest ship she's ever seen disappear beyond her horizon. Rule 5. Respect yourself more than you want her attention. The moment you place your own value above the need for her attention, the entire game flips. Think of self-respect like the foundation of a house. If the ground is solid, storms may shake the windows, but the walls never crack. If the ground is sand, even a light rain can bring everything down. That ground is your identity, your morals, your routine, your vision, the promises you keep to yourself when nobody is looking. When you let a woman's reaction, her excitement, her silence, her approval decide how you feel about yourself, you replace concrete with sand. Every text she ignores, every mood shift she has, erodes a bit more of your footing until you're tiptoeing through the day, scared to step wrong. No one can relax around a man tiptoeing through his own life. Self-respect starts in small, private moments. You say you'll wake up at 6 for the gym. You get up even if the bed feels warm. You promise yourself 1 hour of study after work. You do it even if a show tempts you. You decide you'll speak calmly when someone disrespects you. You hold your tone even when anger burns. Each tiny victory lays another brick beneath your feet. Over weeks, those bricks become a platform you can stand on no matter who drifts in or out of your life. A woman can feel that platform the first time she meets you, not because you brag about it, but because it shows in your posture, in the slow way you talk, in the ease with which you say no. When a man without that platform meets a beautiful woman, he treats her like a lifeboat. He thinks, if she likes me, I matter. So he laughs too loudly at her jokes, cancels plans to see her, changes opinions to match hers, tells stories that make him look smarter, richer, nicer. Every adjustment whispers, please don't leave without you, I sink. She doesn't always register the words, but she feels the weight. She might enjoy the attention for a while, yet a quiet voice inside her keeps saying, if I can move him this easily, who's really steering this ship? Instinctively, she steps back, and her terrified steps forward, begging, bargaining, justifying. The more he gives, the less she values what he gives. Scarcity drives worth, abundance drives boredom. Now imagine a man who regards his time and energy the way a craftsman treats rare wood, with measured respect. He answers messages when it's convenient, not to play games, but because he is genuinely occupied building his life. If she cancels a date last minute, he simply slots a workout or a reading session into that space. No guilt-tripping, no long conversation about disappointment. If she flirts with drama, he refuses to match it. He either changes the subject or excuses himself. He knows arguments drain creative fuel he'd rather pour into his mission. His calm is not indifference, it is disciplined focus. She begins to notice his schedule is a fortress doors open by invitation, not by plea. She realizes each moment with him must be earned, and that realization makes every moment shine brighter. People misunderstand detachment. It is not cold-heartedness. It is warmth turned inward first. You fill your own cup so fully that whatever spills over is offered freely, never as a trade. When you give a compliment, it's because you felt it, not because you hope to get one back. When you buy dinner, it's out of abundance, not a down payment on affection. If it's appreciated, great. If not, you still ate well, you still enjoyed the night, because your mood wasn't pegged to her reaction. Walking away is the final exam of self-respect. It's easy to claim high standards when nothing tests them. The real proof arrives when she pushes a boundary. Constant lateness, silent treatments, flirty texts with other guys. You state your line once, calmly, clearly. If it's crossed again, you exit. No speech, no anger, no social media quotes about betrayal. Your silence writes the lesson louder than words. I wish you well, but I wish myself peace more. Later, maybe weeks or months, she may circle back, curious about the man who didn't protest her departure. Some men take her return as victory and slacken their standards. The platform crumbles. The man of self-respect greets her kindly, yet measures her actions, not her apologies. He remembers the rule: never trade solid ground for quicksand. Something almost mystical happens when self-respect guides every choice. Friends treat you with more consideration, sensing you won't tolerate less. Co-workers listen when you speak, because your voice no longer seeks agreement, it carries certainty. Strangers notice the way you stand, the easy smile that isn't fishing for likes. Women feel the gravitational pull of a man centered in himself. It's the kind of steadiness that promises safety without smothering, excitement without chaos. In the end, the goal is not to become untouchable, it is to become unshakable. Love deeply when it comes, but from overflow, never from emptiness. Give generously, but only what you can afford to lose without resentment. Keep improving, not to outshine others, but to honor the potential wired into your bones. When she sees that light, she can choose to walk alongside you, match pace, share the journey. If she does, value her. If she doesn't, value yourself enough to keep walking. Either way, you remain whole. That wholeness, once tasted, is unforgettable for you, and for anyone lucky enough to feel its glow. If anything in this video made your heart beat faster even for a second, that is your own voice calling you forward. It's telling you that you're done pretending, done shrinking, done handing out your power like free samples just to get a smile or a text back. You have tried that road. You know how it ends. Anxious nights, overthinking, ghosted messages, a nagging feeling that you keep giving more than you get. Tonight that story ends, and a new one begins. Picture the man you could be if you never waited for approval again. A man who moves first because he trusts his own vision. He doesn't scan the room to see who's watching. He is the one people watch. His back is straight, his words are few, his eyes are clear. He keeps his promises to himself about the gym, about his business, about the way he treats people whether anyone notices or not. That steadiness glows darker and hotter than any surface charm. Women feel it the moment he steps near. Men feel it too and wonder why the room suddenly got still. That kind of power cannot be borrowed, bought, or faked. It grows in quiet hours when no one is cheering you on, when you choose another rep instead of another excuse, another page instead of another scroll, another step toward your mission instead of another detour chasing someone who barely knows what she wants for dinner. Every silent victory writes another unbreakable line in your self-respect. One day you wake up and realize the approval you used to beg for feels small, like a jacket you outgrew. You hang it up and never try it on again. Now imagine how you react when you meet resistance from the outside world. A cold text, an unanswered call, a sudden switch in her tone. The old you would scramble, trying to patch every hole so the boat wouldn't sink. The new you watches the waves and realizes you are the boat you don't sink because you float on what you built inside. Silence becomes your shield. Patience becomes your weapon. Most people have never met a man who can sit comfortably in both. When they do, they can't forget him. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is loud and flimsy and falls apart under the first real test. What I'm talking about is deeper. A calm rooted in proof you earned alone. You know your worth because you paid for it with discipline, sweat, late nights, early mornings, and hard choices no one applauded. That kind of calm does not need to shout. It just is, like a mountain. And mountains don't chase hikers. Hikers look up and decide if they're strong enough to climb. If you are ready to be the mountain steady, silent, impossible to ignore type, I choose myself in the comments right now. Not tomorrow, now. Lock it in writing so your mind can't wriggle out later. Hit like if you're done performing and want every click you make online to reinforce your new identity, not the fears you're leaving behind. Subscribe, because one video is fuel, but a journey needs steady meals, and that's what this channel is. Clear, direct nourishment for men who refuse to stay average. Share this with one friend who keeps giving everything for nothing. He might roll his eyes today, but tomorrow he'll remember you tried to save him time. And if he doesn't listen, keep moving. The path is easier to walk when you carry only your own mission. We are building a brotherhood of men who no longer chase crumbs of attention. We pursue mastery of our craft, our bodies, our faith, our purpose. We protect peace like warriors guard a gate. We speak less, think deeper, and act sooner. We do not bend for drama. We do not kneel for vanity. We rise for greatness, and we lift anyone willing to climb with us. Stay calm, your breath is your anchor. Stay cold, your mind is your compass. Stay in control, your actions are your legacy. Words fade, energy remains. Let yours do the talking long after the screen goes dark.